What's up, Colton? How we doing today? Give me just a minute and we will get started on all of this fun stuff. Give everybody just a minute to get in here and then we'll get going. I'm assuming, yeah, I see my sound moving. Hey Johnny, how we doing? What the? Hey Slinky Toy. Hey Viego. What's up, Steven? It's always nice to be working from home, Johnny. Alright, so we're going to work this kind of like a Q&A, ask me as you will. I'm going to go through, I've got some of mine set up already. As you can tell, it's already doing some buys and sells through here. So we'll take a look at what I've got already set up, and then I'll be setting up some more and kind of explaining what I can as I go through. And then if y'all have questions, make sure you're asking in the chat. I will try to keep up with it. I do have it pulled up. It's above. So if I'm looking up, that's why. It's because it's way up there and not down here where that actual camera is. So hey Clement, hey Erican, how are y'all doing today? It's a Monday. It's not my favorite day of the week, but it's pretty close. Wednesday's my favorite. So but we're getting close to my favorite day of the week. Alright, so far in mine, we'll do, let me type somewhere where I'm actually typing. We're going to do credentials, and it's going to tell me what all I have credentials for. So like on my server, it's an exclamation point. Each server can be different. The server admin can change it to whatever they want. So I have mine as credentials, or the exclamation point, because I don't have anything else. Hey Bill. Hey Ryan. So right now I have Bittrex set up, I have Cryptopia set up, and Poloniex. So I could still add HIT, BTC, Kraken, Binance, BTC markets. I could still add those. I know KuCoin is in the works, so that one should be on, I'm hoping, in a couple days, if not by the end of the week. So you could do a dash or exclamation wall instead of, for wallet, and actually see all the wallets based on per exchange. So there's Cryptopia, there's Poloniex. It tells you how much coin you have, the total amount of that coin, its BTC value. If you were to sell everything to Ethereum, that's how much Ethereum you'd have. And if you'd sell everything to USDT, that's how much USDT you'd have. So, and then it gives you a grand total of all of your exchanges down below. So the amount of the coin, so XVG, its total BTC value, total Ethereum value, and total US dollar value, or USDT. Better make sure I say that correctly. And then your totals per exchange, and then totals per everything altogether. Let's see. So we could do straddles, because I do have one straddle, so SR for straddle report. My only straddle I currently have going is on Bittrex, so it tells me the exchange and it tells me my pair. So Ethereum USDT, and I'm at 41%, and my target is 43, and it can be plus or minus the 43, so it can be all the way up to 48% or all the way down to 38%. So my total allocation is $1,400 US dollars, USDT. So hopefully that makes sense. Then I do have pivots running, so PR for pivot report. And this, let me see if I can make this a little less convoluted. Not really. I could shrink down the word size, but then y'all won't be able to read it. So basically, we have Bittrex, our pair, our current balance, our allocation. So right now, I'm in the profit of 0.53%. The current price, my position price. So whether I buy, this is where I bought it at 606, right? Current price, yeah. Current price, and this is kind of, oh no, this is allocation, is how much of my portfolio I have invested in it. So 0.5%. So this is the current price. This is my position, so where I bought it at. I'm down 1.32%. I will sell, or let's see, my next buy-in will be at 0.592, and that means that it went down 2.25%, because that's what I have in my settings. If it goes up towards positive 1%, so at 612 Satoshis, I will be selling out everything I got. So we'll go into it a little bit more as I start setting some of these up. And then I do have 2 of these on Cryptopia, because if we come back up to here, my Cryptopia balance is just not as much as it should be. So, and I mean, like, my BTC's 0.05, so I still got some funding to do in this one, but Poloniex is well enough funded, and Bittrex is funded enough too. So right now my active exchange is Bittrex. So right now, Ripple, it tells you what it's doing, and then it will tell you when it buys and sells. So right now on Bittrex, my pivot strategy for Ripple is now in allocation, so it's trying to buy some. It opening a trailing stop bid for that many Ripple at that price, which is that many Satoshis in Bitcoin. So it'll just sit here and keep trying, and eventually either buy it or sell it or do whatever. So let's get, I have something over here to the left of me clicking, and it's, y'all probably can't hear it, but it's bugging me horribly bad. Sorry about that. Let's see. Dan Tao, Dan, we'll just go with Dan, asked if it supports Binance. type it right. I don't want to cancel. Credentials. It does support Binance. So I just don't have any funds on Binance. I have done no trading on Binance. So burn data, there is asking if there's a wiki. There is no wiki. But there is some help files that are still being populated. So you can go in here and choose help files and go to like straddle. See, we're still populating most of it. We just wanted to get this out so y'all could start playing with it, and I'll kind of tell you what it does, burn data, as we go through it. So we'll exit that. So first thing I want to do is make sure that I'm on the right exchange. I'm going to set up Poloniex. So I do exchange Poloniex to make sure that my exchange is set to Poloniex. So when I'm doing straddles and stuff, it puts it on that exchange and not Bittrex or Cryptopia. So let's go ahead and do what I'm actually going to do is have my Poloniex account pulled up over here. Let me actually expand this thing so y'all can kind of see what I'm looking at. So right here, I'm going to sort by volume. I don't typically do like Litecoin or Ethereum. I don't mind doing a Ethereum Classic, but I don't want to do, I call it the big three, so Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. I don't mind doing the rest of them, mainly just because my Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum I like to hold on to, so I don't trade those. So what I'm going to do is just kind of work my way through them and start adding. I'll probably straddle Ethereum and we'll set that up last. But first off, we're going to do a pivot. So we're going to add a pivot. So you can do add pivot or AP for short. And then, so ET, actually we'll skip that one. Ripple XRP BTC. So we want Ripple, and then we want our base, because it could have USDT, it could have Ethereum. We want it to make sure that we know which one we're doing. Man, I can't stop coughing. Freefall Nick, we're going to kind of go through it a little bit of what a straddle and a pivot is. So once I go through it once, you'll be like, oh, okay. So right here, we know our exchange is on Poloniex. We have no Ripple at this point. This is the highest bid and the lowest ask. And we have no profit because we have no coins. So our allocation is nothing right now. We have no position size, and we're set to act, or Its active is set to false, so it's currently not running. Our establishing amount, so once we set this to active, it's going to auto buy that much right off the bat. And then whether the price goes up or down is dependent upon whether it's going to buy or sell more, or buy more or sell everything. So let me pull up, I have one little file I use just because I don't want to copy or type this whole one section out. But the first thing I start going through, okay, so one position, y'all keep in mind that this is how I set mine up. I'm trying to figure out how I could put this nicely since I'm talking about myself. I am stupid and stupidly aggressive, so you can back your settings down. Like, I always start with this because I know eventually I can get out, I can buy my way back out. If I start off with like a 0.1 Bitcoin, I can't buy my way out. I will use my whole budget before anything happens, and this lets me buy my way out. So buyer mode, there's multiplier is pretty much the best one. It's the only one I use. Allocation margin. Allocation margin. So basically whenever the price drops, so like this one, if the price dropped 25%, it would triple up. So it would buy 3 times your first buy-in. Does that make sense? We're going to assume it does. So if when it does the 3 times buy-in, it's going to move your percentage down. So your allocation percentage, and once it moves it down, then the next buy-in will be at 30%. So it has to drop down to 30% negative, and then it will 3.5 times buy-in. Okay, say that again. Bill wants me to say it again. So in a pivot strategy, when you buy in here, if the price drops 25%, it will 3 times. So it will 3x right there. It'll 3x and move your actual price down. So that way you only got to come up a little bit and then go a little bit into profit and then sell off. So once you're at that point, it'll move to stage 2, 3rd on your list, or 2nd on your list, and then if it goes down 30%, I gotta make sure my hands are still in the video. If it goes down 30%, then it will do the 3.5 multiplier, and it will buy you 3.5 times. Yeah, you can set, Bill asked if you could set it for 2x. Yes, you can. I'll be changing that here in just a minute. So it'll buy in 3.5 times. Yes, burn data. That is true. It is an automated way of performing the strats that Sensei Kevlar goes over in his training videos. So it'll buy 3.5 times, bringing down your profit position more. That way you only got to go up. So that's why I start with a very low number, because you start 3.5 times that takes you to 0.04. 3.5 times again takes you to 0.12, and then 3.5 times again takes you to 0.04 almost. So it can get quite pricey if you leave it at these settings. Here are my settings again. I am way aggressive. So you can back this off. I know a lot of people start at the 3 and 5. They do 3, 5, 7, and 9 and just leave it at that. I am extremely aggressive. If you do what I do and don't have the budget to back it up, you will fail. So don't do what I do. Don't. Just straight up. Start off with a 3 or a 5. If you do 5, it makes it a whole lot simpler. There's some guys, let's go over here to Trading View. There are some guys that I know that we'll go OMG just because I know it's there. Interactive chart. They will take this chart Dan asked if he can enter a configuration file into Discord to avoid typing it. No, right now you can't. So they will take this chart and they will hit the shift key and select that drop. And know it drops 2%. And if it drops 2%, it'll go back up at least 1.25%. So they'll set their first drops and they'll do like, they'll check a bunch of them. So that one's a 3%. So they know if it drops 3, so like that whole swing is a 5% swing because it hit there, dropped all the way down there. So 5.33% swing gets them a 3% gain, and they will set up their pivots just to watch for those. So if when it drops 5% on the buy-in, expect a 3% increase at some point. Dan asked if it's, let me shrink the full out of this again. Dan asked if it was a 30% down from 30% from the first 25. So what it's going to do is when it triples up, or in my case doubles up right here, it's going to readjust your negative percentage because you just bought your price down. So your negative percentage, like for me, is going to go to minus 0.75%. So then it's got to go to all the way back down to minus 2.25%. Does that help, Dan? So in the example, the 25%, once it comes down 25% and it triples up, that 25% only becomes like 6 or 7%, and then it has to go all the way back down to 30. Colton, what's got you lost? Yeah, it's definitely not a master node. Alright, later, Viego. Oh man, Colton. So if it goes negative, 1.5%, I double up. I would set yours to 3 or 5%. Oh, Colton. Alright, so the next one is time between buys. Right now it defaults to an hour. So if it makes a buy right now, it will wait an hour before it does another buy. To me, again, I'm a little aggressive, and actually an hour between buys is not that bad. I just do 5 minutes. So to change it, you type in 8 and then T5M. So time equals 5 minutes, and hit enter. I may have timed out. Yep, I timed out. So set, edit pivot. Heck, I don't, XRP, BTC. Alright, now we can do 8. Time equals 5 minutes. And we changed our time between buys to 5 minutes. Trailing stop mode, so if it starts going, if it's looking to buy, if you have this set to off, it just buys right then and there. I like to do mine to on because I like it to follow it up a little bit. So if you just hit 9 and hit enter, it's like a toggle, so it changes it to on. And 10, so this is the trailing percentage. I normally do 0.3. It gives a little room to play without going too drastic. So if you do a 10.3, yes. Dan, so the whole list of allocation margin, this right here is the minus percentage from the original price, only for the first one. Once you make it to the second one, it's dollar cost averaging your position, your current position, for the next buy down. There is a maker taker mode on here. I'd typically leave it as taker. I haven't seen a need to change it yet. Distribution, so allocation, this whole section right here is all about buying and what to do, like how the price goes. If it falls 1.5%, double up. Falls 2.25%, double up. You can change your settings to whatever. Again, I recommend you don't do this. This is crazy aggressive. Distribution, so this section right here is all about what do you want to happen when it goes into profitability. So the main thing I look at is I look at the price of the coin. So it's 9,031 Satoshis. I can go down a little bit on, well, a whole lot on percentage and be okay. So on higher Satoshi coins, 1 to 2% is fine. So 13, we're changing our distribution margin, and instead of 10%, we're going to change it to 2%. I may have timed out again. Normally expects you just to go through this and not talk and answer questions and check things. Alright, so 13, change that to 2%. So now if it goes into profit 2%, it sells what you have, sells everything you have. Again, I like to do a trailing stop mode, so it will follow it up the market. So 14 to turn that thing on, and then again I do the 0.3%. So it gives it a small cushion, but not a whole lot to do. Get crazy and get going. Again, there's a maker and taker mode. I just leave it for what it is. And the very last thing you want to do is make it active, because without it being active, it's not going to do anything. So again, you can just type in 3 and enter, and it is now set to active. And then you can just hit X to exit out of that editor. You'll notice that it already says Poloniex pivot strategy for Ripple BTC is now in allocation. Trailing stop for 11 Ripple. That's my price. Currently presented. And it's trying to get a hold of some. So it'll continue to try to buy until it actually buys. So it'll keep trying. It'll open an order, cancel an order, and just go to town. Okay, so Dan said the first 1.5% right here, that will double up. What happens with the 2.5? Will it double or 3x? With me only putting in the double up right here, it will double up for every one of these. So if I had a 2x, so if I did a 1 and then a 2 right here, for everything past that, it will do the triple up, so the 2. It'll follow the last one that's in the list. So since I only have the 1, that's the only one. It'll only double up for all of these. Yeah, Dan. That's right. So I'm going to bust through some more of these real quick, because I want to get this bot moving. We're going to do, let's do Monero. And that is XMR to BTC. I keep that one copy and pasteable because I don't like typing all that out. Let's see, change the time to 5 minutes. Turn on the trailing. 10, we want 0.3. 13, what's the price on that one? Whew, Monero is pricey, so we could do 1% on Monero and be fine. 14, turn that on. And then 15 to 0.3. And 3 to make it active. And then we exit. So we can come up here and actually check all of our settings. We have no Monero. That's the current price. It is active. That is our one position size. That is our current allocation margin, multipliers, 5 minutes between buys, our trailing stop percentage. I have a little file that I use that keeps my base settings. Every coin's going to need to be different, because if you do like a 1% on like a bit bean, here, let me come up way up here. I'll show you. I'll show you my lovely bit bean. There we go. We'll move quickly. So like right here, if your percentages aren't right for your buying and selling, it will buy at 103 and then sell at 102, because the coin price at 1%, 1% of 100 is 1. So if it's close, it's looking at the buying price. So if it's within 1 Satoshi, it puts in the order, then it is not a far enough stretch that it will buy at 1 Satoshi less. So like on this one, I move this one to 5%, even 10%. So it has to move up 10 Satoshis to sell off. 10 Satoshis is not that big of a move on some of these coins. No, Steven, you have to wait for the bot to update each time. Most of the time, especially if you're not sitting here talking, I mean, you've seen how fast it took me to do that one. And once you get it set up, it's pretty dang simple, especially once you've done a couple of them. Trailing stop equals 2. Dan says trailing stop equals 2. If price goes down 2% from the expected profit percentage, then sell, right? So for our distribution, when we're selling, if it goes into the profit zone by 1%, and it hits the profit, it will give it an extra 0.3%. to go up and follow it. If it starts to come back down, it will just grab it and sell it. So it'll follow it up some, and then if it thinks about heading back down, it's going to sell it and get rid of it. With the bot, Dan asks, is it an idea to wait until the next resistance line to actually sell? If you can sit there and watch it, Dan, go for it. But like, the whole purpose of this bot is to almost set it and forget it. I check on it once a day, and that's it. So it'll buy and sell throughout the day, and I don't have to worry about it. It doesn't matter what the support and resistance lines actually are. Once it goes down or once it goes up, it just sells it off. So if it goes down, it'll buy it. If it goes up, it sells it. And it does this 24/7. It's one thing, Dan, if you're only working with 1 or 2 coins, but if I'm trying to do a whole bunch of coins, you can't watch all of them and do all of them unless you're a full-time trader that wants to do it 24/7, 365, because the Bitcoin crypto market doesn't stop. It's 24/7 every day of the week, even Christmas. Thanksgiving was a really good day for me, just FYI. Does that help, Dan? We'll do STR. Well, first we got to add a pivot. STR BTC. Dan says not to use the distribution margin. Yeah, you can do buy only. I mean, if you set the distribution margin to 100%, then your distribution margin is fine. You can sell it off whenever you want. Because if it goes, well, number one, if it goes up 100%, you want the bot to sell it off. Let's be honest. If any of my coins go up 100%, sell it off. But that gives you time to manually play with it too. So I don't have time to manually play with it. Not like I used to. Hope that makes sense. Why didn't it turn it on? 9, enter. Still there. Why? Edit pivot. Well, Dan said the trailing stop percent for following up, not down. Well, it will follow it down for this one, for this percentage. So if it hits this market, this percentage, then it will follow it down an extra 1/3 of a percent, just to make sure you're getting the best price possible. Oh, I did the wrong one. Let's make sure I'm get back out of there. Edit pivot STR BTC. No, they're not. It's based on percentages. So like you see it bought Ripple right there. It doesn't care where the resistance line is. It will buy its way up and buy its way down. Or buy its way down and sell its way up. So like I was saying earlier, if you want to do based on lines and stuff, normally what some of my guys are doing, they will literally take this high point to this low point and know it's 2.88%. And only they'll buy, if they buy in here, they know their max drop is 3% before it comes back up a certain percentage. Alright, so STR, let's see if it kicked me out yet. Alright, back to editing this. 9 is on, 10 is 0.3, 13, what was the price on this one? 34. We'll do 2% on this one. Dan asked if resistance lines are not automatically detected. No, they're not. It's purely based off percentages. And I may have already read that one. So 14 to turn on, and then 15 to do our trailing stop percentage. 3 to start the pivot, and X to get out. So there's our Poloni X. So we're going to do a pivot report, and as you can see, now we have our Bittrex, we have our couple of Cryptopia, and our 3 Poloni X. Y'all still with me? Trying to make sure y'all get this, because I really dig the pivots. The pivots are my favorite part. Alright, I'm gonna add some more. If y'all have more questions about the pivots, let me know, because I need to add Let's see, half a Bitcoin. How many did I do on this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I've got to do 7 more pivots. I run fewer pairs, but I run a lot more aggressively. We'll do NIM. NIM looks like a good one. Yeah, it's got good volume, 186 Bitcoin in 24 hours. So XEM, add pivot, XEM, BTC. No, not for, Dan asked if TraderPlan supports trading as to increase the counter, so the altcoins, instead of increasing the base like Bitcoin, Ethereum, or USDT. You can do like targets, so you can do target buys just to do buys based on a certain price range and to build up. Like if you're building masternodes per se and you need 1,000 of the coins, you could set it to where it'll do buys to acquire coins within a specific range over a period of time, things like that. Zim is at 3,800 Satoshis. We'll do 2% on Zim. Turn on the trailing stop. Come on. Trailing stop me. Edit pivot, XEM, BTC. .3. Alright, let's make it active. X to get back out. And once you get a whole bunch of these set up on your different exchanges, you'll see a lot of this movement where it's trying to buy or sell all the different coins, and then basically you just kind of watch for a little buy and sell. Hang on, I'm trying to, oop, there was one. You'll watch for this. So like this bot Monero right here. So you can see the price or the quantity and what it spent. It'll tell you your Bitcoin balance too, and tell you your Ripple balance or Monero balance. Jump down here to present. Let's see. We'll do Raicoin. Rick, BTC. I will find out why it's timing out so quick. So there's our Zim. Our NIM coin just bought. And see, it adds our balance, BTC balance, how much we actually bought, our price we bought it at. Let's see if that'll grab. Because it shouldn't be timing out that quickly. So 8 T5M. Nine is on. 10 is 0.3. 13 is Raicoin is 4,000 Satoshis, so we'll do a 2. Give me just a second, Pure Cane, and I will answer that. So 14 and 15 is 0.03 or 0.3. I'll activate it, and then we exit out. Alright, so wallet. Alright, we'll come up here to, well, Bittrex is what I want. We'll delete both of these just to make it easier for reading ability. Okay, so on my Bittrex account, I only have 0.71 Ethereum. Down here it says 7 Ethereum. Pure Cane asked, my wallet balance says I have X amount of Ethereum, but my actual wallet on Binance has 0 Ethereum. Any idea why? This is, okay, so basically like ADA, I have 487 coins in ADA. That is worth that much Bitcoin, 0.0154, blah, 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 blah. That 487 coins is worth 0.18275 Ethereum, or $157. So down here, if I was to sell all my coins that I have on here, down here, it would be worth 0.61 Bitcoin, or it would be worth 0.72711 Ethereum. Does that answer your question, Pure Cane? Or is it actually saying you have, like right here it says I have this much Ethereum? I know this is way lagged behind for live streaming, so so like right now I was trying to buy Rick. Okay. Alright. So that helped him out. Yeah, y'all hit me up if you have questions about it, because it's gonna take a little bit to get used to it. All right, so let's go down. Let's do hang on, let's do a let me log into my account real quick, and then I'll show you some other neat stuff. Audi, the columns are not configurable. I can talk to them and see if we can add the LTC price. I wouldn't think it would be that big a deal to add the LTC price, but I will find out and let you know. So let's say I'm on my Poloniex exchange over here, because I'm on my Poloniex exchange, and I need to get some USDT. So I have my Bitcoin USDT. Yeah, Steven, give me just a second and we'll get to that point. I have 0.48 and I just want to buy $500 worth of USDT. No, that's sell. I want to buy $500, not 5,000, $500 worth of USDT. And we hit buy. Not enough USDT. Oh, duh, I was right the first time. So it'll put my order in down here. Let's see if I can get it filled real quick. Dang, I'm all the way right there. Come on guys, let my order fill. All right. Gonna sell off some BTC. So it'll pull up and pop in here even if you do a manual buy. So I wanted to show you all that before I get into building a straddle, because we're going to need some USDT. I'll move that back over to the side. So now if I do a wallet, it'll actually show that I have USDT in my Poloniex account. So USDT right there. So let's go ahead and add a straddle, and we're going to do Ethereum USDT because that's the one I like. All right, so let's go. It auto defaults to some settings for you. We're gonna change some of this up. So let's look at our wallet. I do have some Ethereum sitting on here, so it auto pulled that in and put it right here as my base allocation. So it already knows I have that much Ethereum, which is $25 worth of Ethereum. So not a whole lot. My counter allocation is $524, so 95% of my USDT, my combination, so 550 is my total that it sees. My trade amount is currently 0.06 Ethereum, so $55 worth. My allocation and distribution, Hammer Joe, there are let's see, can somebody, Oxygen or anybody, can anybody post Sensei's link to his YouTube where he kind of talks about straddles and pivots into the chat? So this is our straddle setup. Basically, if we want to set up our max to the max price we think Ethereum will get, and our minimum price we think Ethereum will get, and then it will find its way in the market and buy and sell up and down. So we're going to go through, if you have, okay, well, I'll explain that here in a minute too, but so it's currently got us targeted for a 50-50 split in the market right now, and I should have 0.31 Ethereum based on my maximum allocation. And my wallet balance has only got 0.03, so as soon as I make it live, it's going to start buying Ethereum to make it. Alright, so pivot margin. Pivot margin, we'll come back to base allocation and maximum allocation because we're going to change those last. Pivot margin, this is how much the price has got to move up or down. Yeah, so current target is 50% plus or minus 10%. So I like to change that to 5%. Let's see if it may have kicked me out already. Let's see, 4, make that 5%. Okay. Hey Steven, can you try to post it again for me? Alright, yeah, so it kicked me out. So we're going to edit straddle ETH BTC. There we go. So we're going to change it to, oh, so if you just do edit straddle, it'll ask you what straddle you want to edit. So you can do 2 and enter, and it'll bring up this straddle on Poloniex. Let's see. We were changing number 4 to 5%. Pivot mode and scale. You can change the scale to pretty aggressively. I leave it set to none. I'm not all that concerned with scaling. Lowest target price. So this is what you think the minimum will ever be. So we're actually going to change. I want to change that to 650. The allocation choke. So if it gets to this dollar amount, the price of Ethereum, it will stop buying to give you the option to buy lower. So you can change this percentage. I normally like the 10% rule. So if it allocation, so it's buying up. Yeah, I went I'm like, okay. Yeah, I wanted at 90%. I completely did that wrong. Allocation choke at 90%. So if it comes down to this part to $714, that gives me still 10% of my budget left of my total budget. Here, 10%, so $55 that I can buy lower. So if it keeps going down, that gives me a little room to wiggle with. So I still like to do trailing stops on these. And I still do the point 0.3. I liked it to have some room to play. Let's see. I'm going to change the highest target price. I like even numbers, so we're going to go 1300 just to make it even for me. And then 10% on the distribution choke. So I get to keep 10% of my Ethereum just in case it takes off to $1,500. So we'll turn trailing stop on, and again the 0.3. So I like to make sure that it's completely the way I want it before I turn it on. So now for maximum allocation, it's set at 550 US dollars. If you have 2,000 USDT in your account, this thing does not care. It don't care. It's only going to use $550, and that's including your current price or your current allocation of Ethereum. So it knows I have that much Ethereum. I could set number 2 to $100, and it will never use more than $100 between what it has in Ethereum and the little bit of USDT it has left over. That right there is a little confusing for people, but just keep in mind it won't use it all. So if you have 5,000 in USDT and you want to get rid of all your USDT, it won't. But if you have a 5,000 maximum here and you're at the 50-50, it will have $2,500 in Ethereum and $2,500 in USDT, and then move its way up and down. Alright, let's see if it kicked me out. If not, we're going to make this thing active. Alright, set or edit straddle. We're editing number 2. And we want to make that dude active. So it is now active, and you're about to see this thing start buying to get me where it's supposed to be. So we'll go ahead and exit out. And you can see it's now in allocation mode. And it is putting up buy orders because it's trying to get me to its spot in its allocation percentage. Because right now it says my current target is 67% and I'm at 4%. So it's going to start buying up to where it gets me right into the right position. So that's really the only straddle I'm going to run is Ethereum. I've thought about, I'll probably add Litecoin. I want to fund my account a little bit more before I add Litecoin to both of them. But I'm going to sit here for a little bit and add probably about 4 or 5 more pivots that y'all can hang around and watch, ask questions. But I probably got about another 15-20 minutes worth of pivot adding, and then y'all can ask me questions as I do it. Eight is time 5 minutes. Turning trailing stops on. 0.3%. Let's see. Game is 20,000 Satoshis, so we'll do 1%. Turn trailing stop on again. And that's about as long as it takes to add a pivot. Especially when you know what settings you already want and you're kind of just tweaking them for that one coin. Alright, let's do GNT. Add pivot, GNT, no, BTC. Alright, 7 is 1% or 1 double ups. Let this catch up. 8 to 5 minutes. Okay, yeah, Clement, give me just a second. So 9. Ten is 0.3. 13 is 2%. 14 to turn it on. 15 is 0.3. And 3 to activate the pivot. X to get it out. Okay. So profits. Normally, for me, I have a spreadsheet that I keep track of. I call it my plan. I fill it out probably once a week just to kind of see where I am and where I'm getting to, and just kind of update my balances for each exchange. I don't know why I can't think. For each exchange. But you can do, like me, once a week, whoa, I'll do a wallet command and copy in my BTC totals into my spreadsheet. I mean, that's just what I do. It makes it simple for me. You'll see it changes so much that doing it daily is kind of painful to watch, truthfully, because this morning I was at 619. So if I was to watch this all the time, it's like, oh, I'm losing money. But I'm not really losing money. The price of each of my altcoins is going down, and then when it comes back up, it sells and I get all my coin back. It's really, it's kind of weird, but it just works. You can do, there's no profits right now for this, so profits XRP, and then you can do daily. So if you want to do daily, I mean, obviously I don't have anything in here, but if you want to change the exchange, you got to do that exchange command. So exchange BITTREX for Bittrex, and then you can do profits. Oh, I'm trying to remember when I have on profits. We'll do BitB, since y'all seen me mess up. Daily. So you can see my balance of bit being difference. So it's buying and selling all the time. Start difference, start. We're trying to get the whole profits in here more user friendly. So it works, and it'll tell you the difference in the balances in each one, but I mean, I like it. I just don't use the profits that much. Truthfully, I don't. Mainly because I don't care as much. I just update my weekly spreadsheet. Like right now, I know the market's kind of going sideways and people are just waiting to see. I'm not expecting massive gains. I'm not. It can run. It can make me a little bit here and there. If it makes me $50 to $100 a day, I'm doing good. Now, if the market was to start shooting up, it'll start making me more. Once it goes down, I mean, I've set in bags and not made nothing for a week, week and a half solid, just waiting for the market to fix itself. So I don't really pay attention to the profits that much. I just let it run and update my spreadsheet. Does that help, Clement, at all? Dan asked, what advantage does TraderPlan have over ProfitTrailer? Well, ProfitTrailer only does pivots, what TraderPlan calls pivots. The thing is with TraderPlan's pivots, as soon as it sells, so as soon as, if it was to sell Rick right now, as soon as it sells, it puts in a buy order to start your process over again. It doesn't look to see what the market's doing. It doesn't care. It buys you right back in, so you can start your next trade. Because if you're sitting there not making a trade, you're not making any money. Truthfully, if you ain't trading, you ain't making money. So that's the difference between those two for me. Between those two, TraderPlan has straddles, which will move up and down the market. I've seen a couple guys tweak their straddles, and when Bitcoin moves, I've seen them make stupid money, and I'm like, why didn't you tell me how to set this up the way you got yours set up? But I mean, they're a lot more aggressive. Like, I thought I was aggressive. They're not. I'm not aggressive. Just so y'all are aware, it did not actually do a double buy here. It only bought once, but it uses 4 different servers, so 2 of them tagged it at the same time that it had bought, so it shoved it out twice, because Discord rotates through a bunch of them. So even though it looks like it double bought, you notice that they're showing the same information. It just grabs it and spits it out twice, because 2 of them grabbed it out of the 4. TraderPlan has the straddles, which I like. I just got to get more of them set up. I got to fund my account more to where I feel like it can move and play around right. Then it has the targets, so if I'm trying to acquire a masternode that's on Cryptopia, I could do a target and target 1,000 coins and under this price point, and set up my buy increases, so it'll buy like every hour, every couple hours, so I'm not moving the price of the coin. Because don't get me wrong, I've been stupid a couple times and went to Cryptopia and bought 1,000 coins and watched the whole market move up and been like, oh man, or move down. So like on Cryptopia, I get some of my payouts from my masternodes that go straight to Cryptopia. I could set it up on here to where when it sees those coins hit Cryptopia, it just auto trades them straight into Bitcoin, and I don't got to worry about it. I don't have to go in and be like, oh man, now I got to go log into my Cryptopia account to do this. It'll just do it for me. So there's some of the differences between the two. I hope that helps, Dan. But let's go ahead and add another one. We added game and GNT. Let's add LSK. Oop, we gotta change my exchange back. exchange. Baloney X. Ooh. Oh, it still grabbed it. Good. Alright, add pivot. LSK BTC. Seven. 8 is time 5 minutes. And then 9, turn that dude on. Yes, Dan, correct. I'm going to go over targets in another video when I've had a little bit more time to play with them. I've only used them once. I've only used it once, so I want to use it a couple more times before I try to explain it to everybody. So alright, Lisk, the price of Lisk is at 0.002, so we could do a 1%er on Lisk. So 13, 1% gain. Turn on the trailing stop. And 0.3 again. Three to make it active. X to exit out. Yeah, this video will be live on my channel. So I try to leave all these videos live just to make it easier. Alright, let's do Saya Coin. Any chance you draw us in the chart straddle and pivot settings? Maybe in the next video. Yeah, Clemen, I can do that. I don't know how much sense it'll make, truthfully, but I can do my best to do that for you. Just shoot me a message so I remember, please, in Discord, because I already got a full list today, and I promise you, I can guarantee you I will forget that you said that in about 30 minutes, maybe less. Let's do bit shares. Add pivot. Was it BTS, BTS, BTC. Alright. 8 time equals 5 minutes. 9 10 equals 0.3. 13. BTS bit shares is 2,000 Satoshis, so we'll go with 2%. 14 to turn on the trailing stop. 15 to 0.3. And 3 to make it active. Then we exit. Alright, let's see how many pivots I have going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's pick one more. Ooh, let's do made. Add pivot, made, BTC. Alright, so 7 is 1, so we're going to double up all the time. 8 is time equals 5 minutes. 9 is turning on trailing stop. 10 is 0.3. We'll do 2% for our distribution from made to turn on the trailing stop for selling. .3% for our trailing stop. 3 to make it active. And X to exit. That gives us 10 over there too. So now I'm running 10 straddles on 10 pairs, 10 pivot pairs on Bittrex, 10 on Poloniex, and 2 pivot pairs on Cryptopia. I am running 1 straddle on Poloniex and 1 straddle on Bittrex. So that'll get me going at least for a little while until I can get more and more funds built up in there. So, and then just kind of check in on it every once in a while. Normally when I first set stuff up, I will keep this page open just to see if I screwed something up somewhere. Because yes, I check it as I go, but I mean, y'all seen my Bitbean. I was buying and selling at a loss for like 3 or 4 hours because I thought I had it set up right, and I went to lunch, and then me and the wife went somewhere else after lunch, and then I came back and I was like, whoops. So you need to kind of keep an eye on it for a little bit, make sure it's doing what you want, just like you would with any other bot. Make sure it's doing what you're thinking it's supposed to be doing. All the settings are adjustable. Make it to where you feel comfortable with it. I mean, that's the whole goal with it. Make sure you're comfortable with the settings you put in. So, I mean, as you can see, it's trying to grab made and bit shares right now. So, I'm comfortable with my settings. Those settings aren't for everybody. They are crazy aggressive. You can bag up for days, weeks at a time with those settings. So go a little more conservative until you fully understand what's going on. I mean, the default settings are like super ultra conservative. Really, you're not going to spend a whole lot of money on it. So I'm more of the super riskier type. I know that. I've come to deal with it in my own ways. So I just make sure that no matter what, I can buy my way out. Dan asked what the pricing structure was. So Dan, you get, I believe, a week free for the unlimited. You can do as many pairs as you want on any exchange you want. They don't limit you by the exchange. It is limited by the number of pairs you're trading. So if you're doing like made BTC, that is one pair. It don't care what exchange you're on, it's just this pair. And it can be a pivot, a straddle, it doesn't matter. It is all based on this pair. It don't care what exchange it's on or anything like that. I believe it's 1 week free for as many pairs as you want. Then free forever, you can do one pair forever free. So if you don't want to pay for the program, you can trade one pair. Like you can do a straddle on BTC USDT and just do that one forever. Dogecoin. Or let's see. So the Shark package is $250 a month. It's 5 trading pairs. The Whale package is $500 a month, 20 active strategies or pairs, and then $750 a month for unlimited strategies. So for me, it does pretty well. I mean, this weekend I did 0.02 to 0.24 Bitcoin over the weekend. So it is what it is, and I'm not even happy with the market. If the market was good, I mean, Thanksgiving weekend when I was running this, during Thanksgiving weekend, I did, I think, like $1,200 in 3 days. So it really depends on the market and what, but you can always use it for free. One free strategy, one free trading pair. KuCoin is coming. I already put it on here on mine, but it is coming. But yeah. So we bought our maid. Now we just wait for it to go up or down. Andrew asked if there's a basic FAQ. There is a help and a tutorial command. So let's see if I spelt it right. So you can do tutorial and it outputs you tutorials, kind of a basic rundown, and then help will get you, you can choose the different sections, and there's a contact support. It's still, all this is still being filled out. So if you see one that says like what did we do earlier? Of course that one had it. Let's see, what number did I put in? But you could put in and it'll say description, usage, base encounter, so add straddle dash USDT, and kind of give you an example of it. We're adding more and more to it, trying to get it filled out. So, because it is missing quite a bit. So, and then just X to exit it. If you have this bot, it will follow you around. So if you go into like other rooms on the Discord and they don't have it locked out of those rooms, it will follow you around. So like if I come over here to this room, since I have it listed in that room, and I do a help, it'll pop up in that room too. Or if I do like a pivot report, it will show everybody all my pivots. So make sure that you exit out before you go into other things, other rooms, especially if you don't want people to see it. There is a delete credentials. Let me go. I believe it's just delete credentials, CRED credentials, and then like Bittrex. And you should just be able to hit enter and go. And that should be it. That should remove them from our server. Or from these servers. But yeah, that's it. Oh, Dan asked after his first week free, he don't want to pay and wants to quit. How can he be sure that those go away? His API and secrets get deleted from the servers. The delete credentials and then the exchange will get rid of them. I gotta remember to read stuff off. Anybody else before I hop off of here? We're almost to the 2-hour mark, and that's about as much talking as this guy can do. I'm still waiting. Kickstarter, if you're out there, you can sponsor me. I'll make sure I drink all the orange ones I can on stream. I'll look at screen so it's faded out right there. But I'm not going to delete my credentials. If there's nothing else, I'm going to hop off of here. You can hit me up on the Discord, and I will try to help you out as much as I can. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week, and keep racking in those crypto coins. So talk to y'all later. Bye bye.